Hi there, it's Carrie from Stamp with CT. Welcome on into the craft room. It is Wednesday, August the 6th. I'm going to adjust just a tiny bit. It's time for Facebook Live. Hoping that Facebook will send out hoping that Facebook will send out some notifications for me. That would be awesome. And hoping that some of my friends can join if you're catching the replay. Awesome. We're glad you're here. Just pop in replay in the comments so I'll know you stopped by. I appreciate that. And I say we are glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. Oliver probably is too. I've got Oliver the crafty pup with me today. And he has been kind of a lazy bones, y'all. I'm going to call him out on that. But it is 95 degrees here in Texas, which for August is not too bad. But it's pretty warm. And we've been running in and out, doing some laundry and doing different things. So I've had him pretty active today. So this afternoon he's been resting. But I do have a really fun project for you today. I think it's fun. It's called the double embossing technique. So let me know if you have ever heard of this, if you've ever done it before. I'm going to be using 2 embossing folders on the same card, same piece of paper. And I'll show you how to do that, just in case you've never done it, or if it's been a while since you have. And we'll talk a little bit about embossing folders as we go. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, talk a little bit about the products that we're using today. This is actually the card that we're going to be recreating, and I hope that the camera will pick up on the fact that we have the Sunflower 3D embossing folder at the top here, and we have the Forever Plaid embossing folder, 3D embossing folder at the bottom. And then we are using, oh goodness, I hope this doesn't slip my mind, but Floral Impressions Designer Series paper. It's an online exclusive, and it's a fabulous, beautiful paper. We used it quite a bit in the spring. Of course, I've got my Stylish Shapes dies. Love these so much. They're a real workhorse in our craft room. I don't use the squares quite as much as the banners and the circles. Love, love, love the circles. But I use these dies almost every day in my crafting. I craft almost every day, and I pull these out. I just love these dies so much. Then we are pulling in this little stamp set, and all we need is the Hello stamp from this set, but this is a really cute set from the new mini catalog. No, I'm sorry, the new annual catalog that came out in May. We have a new mini catalog that's coming out in September, our holiday catalog, and we'll talk about that too. I put in not 1, but 2 pre-orders yesterday. I did my first pre-order and talked to Cheryl, kind of got her input. She was telling me what she was ordering. We went back and forth. And then when Dale got home, I pulled the computer up to show him something, pulled up the website, and we got to looking at the catalog, the new mini, and he found some things that he just thought we needed. So isn't that the best husband ever? Love it. I love that he crafts with me. And so he convinced me to place another pre-order. Plus, I forgot to order catalogs. Duh. So I kind of had to put in another order, right? And who knows, after talking to my friend Karen, messaging back and forth with her today, who knows, she may convince me that I need something else. But I'm really happy, y'all, with this new mini catalog that will be coming out to customers in September. Demonstrators can pre-order now. And I think everything is in stock for the pre-order, so pretty exciting. And I love the holiday catalog. It's really my favorite. Okay, let's get back to what we're using today. We are pulling in 2 embossing folders. The first one is the Sunflower 3D embossing folder. And then I also have the Forever Plaid 3D embossing folder. Now this one carried over from last holiday catalog. And then this one, of course, is an online exclusive, and it's absolutely beautiful. It's been a couple weeks ago. We had some reels and we focused on a couple different ways to use this. Dale did some coloring of the embossed layer with sponge daubers. We ran it through with some gold foil sheets. We have some other ideas with this, but I really like what we're doing today as well. Now, these are 3D embossing folders, and before we actually jump into the project, I'm going to show you, this is the pressed flowers embossing folder. It's just a plain embossing folder. So how do you tell the difference? Well, first of all, this one is much more pliable than these 3D. You can probably even tell when I hold it sideways. When you have them in your hand, this is a much more substantial folder. And so even though these are kind of oversized, they also come in the 6x6 and a smaller size embossing folder. If you look on where the name is, it will say just embossing folder for this one. It will say 3D embossing folder here. And so that's going to cue you as to what your sandwich will be when you're running it through your machine. Now, what we'll be talking about today is running it through a Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, since that's what I have, what we sell with Stampin' Up. But you can look usually with your manufacturer guidelines for your machine to figure out what your sandwich is for a 3D versus a regular embossing folder. Now, I'm not sure if it's just kind of what I'm drawn to, or if it really is that Stampin' Up! Offers more 3D folders than just regular. But most of my folders, when I was looking through to find just a regular folder, it was hard to find one because they're almost all 3D folders. So let's go ahead and take these out of their jackets. And we're going to get started with our project. So I'm going to get this up close again so you can see we've got one piece of paper that is embossed with the two different folders. I went ahead and put a little strip of that Designer Series paper on the inside of the card as well. And we're just going to recreate this card with, you know, a couple little modifications. You know, each card is its own work of art, right? So I actually have a couple of pieces of the two-tone cardstock. Now, this is available in, I think, about 53 or 54 colors now from Stampin' Up! On page 77 of the annual catalog, you can see a list of all of the colors that are offered. This is Daffodil Delight. Now, you've got two different sides to the paper, and I think that will pick up on camera. You've got a dark side and a lighter side. So the darker side is true to color of the Daffodil Delight, and that's the case in all the different colors that it's offered in. And then the lighter side has more of a variation. Now, this paper, when it is manufactured, it's actually two pieces that are pressed onto a white core. And so you do have the white core, and it's cool because you can actually, like, I could sand the part that's embossed on this if I wanted to and get some of the white fibers coming through. I can tear this and show the white fibers. Really cool techniques. You can fold it down. Really cool techniques with this cardstock. It comes in 12 by 12, and I really had a lot of fun using the two-tone cardstock. Today, this is just what I grabbed because it's a little bit different as far as texture than our regular cardstock. It's not anywhere near as thick, and this is just what I wanted to use with our project today. So what we're going to do is take our sunflower embossing folder, and I just want to kind of find a sunflower that I really love. There's one in this corner, one in this corner, and I'm going to put the whole piece of paper in the embossing folder, kind of line it up at the edge, because I really want to pick up a nice big sunflower image. And just a little tip, if you don't know, with Stampin' Up! Folders, the logo is on the top, the embossing portion of the folder, and then the bottom is the debossed portion. So sometimes that can get a little bit confusing too. You set that aside. bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And then for this, I am going to use my base plate, or number 1. I'm going to put my folder in with the folded side going through the roller first, so it puts the pressure on it. And that's almost always how I do it. It's what I was taught to do, just because of the way it puts pressure on your folder. Make sure that your folder is lined up well, especially these oversized folders. Make sure they're lined up well on your platform so you don't harm your folder. Sometimes they get kind of scraped on the side, and that can happen if it's not lined up well as you run it through. Now this next plate that we're going to use is the gray specialty plate for 3D embossing. As far as I know, that's the only thing you use this plate for. So we're going to kind of let that catch, and I'll run it through. And then I just always tend to run it back through. I don't know, that's just what I do, so that I get a really good impression. And all that popping and snapping, that's normal. So let's move that out of the way and open it up. And we have the beautiful sunflower pattern embossed onto our paper. So pretty. Now, I want the bottom to have the plaid. So I'm going to take this, and at the bottom of my plaid folder, I'm going to line it up to where my sunflower's up there. Look at it a little bit closer. I guess I'm going to do it this way. I want my sunflower up there at the top. And I'm just going to line this up kind of on the grid of the, let me go up one more, of the folder. Okay, and I'm going to close it up. And I don't know if you know this, but it's actually going to put the impression of the, I moved it. It's going to put the impression of the plaid folder over and kind of press out the rest from the sunflower folder. So if you ever emboss, and this works with cardstock and designer series paper too, if you ever emboss something and then you decide, I wish I had used a different paper, go ahead and run it back through again, because you may be able to do that and it won't be a problem. All right, I'm pushing my folder through just a little bit, since just the tail end of that is going to catch. And we'll run this one through. And again, I just go back and forth, just what I do. So get this out of the way again. And now we have sunflower on the top and plaid on the bottom. Pretty cool, huh? I love this. Love it. I had not done this in so long. Now I've got a piece of early espresso cardstock. It's 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. And we're gonna go ahead. Look, I thought I got a bone folder out. There's one. And burnish that. And then I've got a 5 1/4 by 4 inch piece of basic white and a little strip of scrap of the designer series paper. And I think I want to use this end that has more of the smaller flowers. So I'm just going to put a little bead of glue down a little bit from the edge. And I'm going to put this strip on. Now this is just a scrap, and it's about a 1/2 inch wide. And I'm going to pull it back from the edge of the cardstock just a little bit. This will end up being the bottom of that inside panel. Let me let it dry for just a second. I find in the times when it's warmer here in Texas that I have to let my glue dry a little bit longer. Like there, I scooched it again. I have to give my glue a little bit longer to dry because of the heat. Okay, let's see if I can snip that off without cutting into my white cardstock. Hopefully I did it. Get rid of that debris. So on this one, I have it going up the side, and this one I'm going to put it, I'm going to put it at the bottom of the card. Just a little bit different. It works either way. Like I said, every card is a little bit different, a little bit special, right? And then let's see, hope that glue is really wiggly today. I like having some time to get my panel in place, kind of double check my borders, and we'll give that a second. Now you could certainly do some stamping on the inside if you wanted to. Okay, now we're going to bring in a layer of designer series paper, and this is the beautiful sunflower paper, and I thought about using that side, and I think that that would be very pretty, but I really like it with the green. I think it makes the embossing stand out more, and because I've embossed this and it's so covered with beautiful embossing, I'm going to put a little more glue than I normally would, just to make sure that the fibers that are touching really grab to the designer series paper. I think that would be horrible if I sent somebody a card and it just fell apart. I don't want that to happen. But I will say that in our reels and sometimes in our videos, people do ask if that's enough glue, like we do the dot, dot, not a lot method where we put glue in the corners and then kind of a squiggle in the middle. Dale and I both do that, and we learned that from our friend Mary. And I think it's plenty of glue because Tombow multi-purpose liquid glue, sometimes people will call it the green glue. This is a strong adhesive. And by putting it in the corners, and I'll show you on this other piece when I put it down, putting it in the corners and down the middle, then you can touch it on the sides and you don't end up with quite as much glue on your fingers. Okay, now I have a strip of designer series paper, and this one is, I don't think I told you how big this is. So our designer series paper here is 5 1/4 by 4, and then this piece is 4 3/4 by 3 1/2, this piece of yellow. This little strip is 3 1/2 by 3/4, and I think I actually cut it a little smaller, I did, than this one, which was a full inch wide. But you know, again, use your scraps, use what you have. You do you, boo-boo, right? I'm just going to line this up kind of with my grid of my plaid folder, and that should be pretty straight. I hope so. So just a little touch there of designer series paper. Now we can add this to the front of our card. Dot, dot, not a lot. And look how pretty that is with the green and the brown and the yellow. I think this is a happy and cheerful card. Uh-oh, I think my white panel moved. Oh goodness. We'll fix that in a minute. Let me get it out of the way though. Yeah, just with the heat. Oh, what a hot mess dumpster fire. Sorry, y'all. With the heat, I just have to let that dry a little bit longer, and I know that. We'll fix it. We will fix it. There's always a fix, right? Let me worry about this piece. It seems to be adhering a lot better. Okay, now let's work on this again. Goodness. I just didn't let that dry enough. And it worked its way down. Did y'all see it peeking out? Real life crafting here with CT, right? Little humidity always helps with your card making. Okay, I think we're in good shape now. I think it's going to be okay. I think so. Okay, so now let's do a little bit of stamping, and it won't be much, but just a little bit. I have that stylish shape circle in white and then early espresso, and they're going to layer. Man, we were doing so good there for a minute, weren't we? It's not perfect. It's handmade. Now I just stuck my finger in the ink pad. Let me rub that off on my chamois. Oh, goodness, y'all. I have another one. Let me clean my stamp off a little bit and re-ink. Man, we were doing so good. It is what it is. Okay, let's try that again. Ink up my stamp. Stamp my little hello. It probably would have been good to have a piercing mat, but I didn't. But that's okay. And I did stamp that a little bit low on the circle, so we'll work on that here in just a minute. We may put the bow in a little bit different place, and that's okay. I do not think that I grabbed a take your pick tool. Oh, I did. No, I didn't. Let me grab one. So I can take these backings off. I'm trying to do better about using my tool again to take my backings off, keep them gathered, put them straight in the trash so they don't go all over the house. One time when Tara and James were visiting, there was a dimensional back on their little pup's nose, on little Luna's nose. It was funny. I think Oliver's had a dimensional back hitch a ride on him before too. Okay, so now let's go ahead and glue down our sentiment. Yeah, we're going to be putting our bow in a different place, and that's okay. And I'm bringing my sentiment over just so that my sunflower shows up a little bit better. So I brought it quite a bit over to the edge. I'm okay with that. I'm just kind of utilizing where that falls on the DSP. All right. Last little thing so that we have our card completed is I'm going to take a length of linen thread and I'm going to double that up. I love using linen thread as an accent, but I really, really like it in a double bow where you use two lengths of the thread and you tie one bow at the same time. Now, I tend to make my loops pretty good size, and then I come back and zhuzh them and get them into shape where I want them, and then trim it all off. So one of the things I did order yesterday on the pre-order, in the new holiday catalog, there is I want to say it's Old Olive and Early Espresso linen thread combo pack. So cute. So I'm just pulling those tails down so that I can snip through all of that at the same time. Get rid of that excess. And then I've got my cute little double bow. And we will grab a glue dot. Just use my nail to kind of scrunch it up a bit. Put my bow to it. And now we're going to place this bow up at the top of the greeting. And what I love about using the glue dot is you can get things situated where you want it with your linen thread or ribbon. And then once you do that and you press it down, it tends to stay where you want it. Okay, there you go. There is our card with the double embossing technique. What do y'all think? I just love it. I think it looks so cute to have the sunflower up top and the plaid at the bottom, and everything's dried on the inside here now. So I love this technique. Look through your embossing folders and see what will work for you. And if you do create something with this double embossing technique, I hope you'll share a picture with us. Becca did that for us either last week or the week before. I think it was last week. She posted a picture of the card that she created later that day, and I love it when you guys do that. So just put it in the comments. All right, let me give you a couple of reminders. One is that if you need Stampin' Up! Supplies, you can shop in my online store 24/7, stampwithct.stampinup.net. If you're looking for connection with other crafters, we have a couple different ways you can do that. We do in-person classes, and I'll tell you in just a little bit how to know about that. We also have CT's Craft and Connect Facebook group. That is a group for our crafting community. You are more than welcome to post there. Funny crafting memes. You can post projects that you're creating, questions that you have. I put, usually our monthly stamp class video is posted there. I also have some albums with projects that we've created, especially when we use a suite and we make quite a few projects with that suite. I post albums there so you can be inspired, and hopefully that will inspire you to create with those products if you have them or something similar. And then you can also join our Stampin' Up! Team, our Super Inspired Stampers team. And again, you just go to stampwithct.stampinup.net and hit the join button. And if you wanted to do that now, you could go ahead and pre-order some of those holiday products that I'm talking about. The other thing is, if you want to know what classes and events we have, there's a couple ways to do that. One is to be on my email list, so just send me a message and I'll be glad to add you. Send me your email address and I'll be glad to add you to the email list. I try not to just bombard your inbox. I do send an email at the first of the month that tells you everything we have planned for that month. And then if a special comes up or a reminder that I need to send out before a class closes, I'll do that. But I try not to just send you a bunch of emails, but definitely get you that one at the first of each month so you know what's going on. You can also look at the events tab right here on Stamp with CT business Facebook page. And that events tab, I try to have the events for the upcoming month posted about a month in advance so that you can see what's going on, and you can click going there. If you click going or interested there, then I will reach out to you if you haven't registered by the deadline of things. So that's another good resource for you. Okay, let me show you the happy mail that I received. And Becca, my friend and teammate, actually hand delivered this card, and I love this card. This is really cool what she did, and I had thought about doing this but just had not made it happen, but Becca really put it into action, so I love this card. This is actually a little invitation that you get when you become a demonstrator. They also include some business supplies, so this is a little postcard that you get. She actually, I think she cut this down a bit, but she matted it up and put it on the front of the card. And how perfect is that for a fellow demonstrator or fellow crafter? Love what you do. So, so cute. And then she's got a couple things popped up here in embellishment. So, such a cute card, such a cute idea. I love that she repurposed those supplies that she wasn't going to necessarily use for a class or an event, but she used those supplies. Now, I have started posting the happy mail that I receive on Monday afternoons here on Stamp with CT. on my Facebook page so you can get a little bit closer look. So if you send me a card, I will post it. I'll show it here on Wednesday, and the following Monday I'll post it so people can see it a little bit closer. And I just want to give you a shout out, and I want to show off the projects that you guys make because they're just so awesome. Okay, let me know if I can help you in any way. Be sure and post a picture if you use the double embossing technique, and I will see you again next week. Thanks, guys.